Okay, I'm back from Vegas, and for you guys, the good news is that I'm not planning on traveling anytime in the too near future, other than maybe just around Southern California a little bit. And I do apologize for the lack of videos while I was in Vegas, but if you are old enough to go to Vegas, you kind of know what the Vegas scene is like. Basically, what ended up happening was my plan, it was like 98, 99 degrees already there. It's 61 where I'm at right now, just so you get a kind of a comparison of what I was dealing with. Couldn't shoot in the middle of the day. So my plan was to get up early, go shoot in Vegas before it got too hot. The problem is when you don't go to bed before like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because you're in Vegas, waking up before 11 a.m. just isn't gonna happen. And that was the case. So I do have a couple of opinions that I'm not gonna share today, but a couple of opinions of something that I discovered over the last 2 weeks of traveling and how it relates to Jurassic World Alive. And I think I have a plan of how I want to address that, and it's not gonna happen today. Today we need to talk about the new week. Expectations are pretty high for getting 1.7 this week. I'm pretty sure it'll happen. I feel like Ludi has basically said it will happen this week. We just don't know exactly when. But in the interim, there is something that has happened this week so far I think is actually kind of cool. If we do look at the tentative dinos of the week, and remember, Ludia did send out a message saying that they were going to release this week's events, but it was more or less going to be a placeholder for once 1.7 started. So this very much could change. But there's one aspect to this that I really like, and it's the first time we've seen it for weekly events. So starting off on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you do have the 4 common class dinosaurs. You're going to get 36 attempts: Apatosaurus, Velociraptor, Stegosaurus, and Parasaurolophus. All really, I mean, at this point, it's a lot harder to find dinos that are worthless than to find dinos that have some value, and all of these have some value. Although I will say, just as an aside, that I think Velociraptor is, I think it's pretty much kibosh done. And the reason why I say this is because in my personal opinion, once 1.7 comes out, I mean, I don't like Velociraptor anymore. I haven't liked Velociraptor since like 1.1, but I like it even less now because I feel like Indoraptor is taking a big L in 1.7, and I feel like for the same reason Indoraptor is taking a loss in this update, I feel like Erlidomus is going to be in the same category. And to me, that just kind of means Velociraptor has the DNA is a lot less valuable than it was at any point leading up to 1.7. Parasaurolophus, I still like. Stegosaurus, I like. Apatosaurus, I still like all those. But then here's the uniqueness to this. On Wednesday, we have rares and we have commons. Now there's a little bit of confusion in this for me, and if you know the answer, or Ludi, if you're watching, maybe you could help clarify this, but I cannot tell if the rares are spaced out as Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with Nodosaurus, Utahraptor, and Amargasaurus on purpose, or if that's just how they had to do the graphic in order to get it to fit to scale. But regardless, it's kind of cool that on Wednesday you can either go for commons or you can switch over and go for rares. That's something that we've never had in this game before. Now, if it's just Nodosaurus, that is a little less attractive. Although at the same time, if you have all 3 of those, that means you have 7 different dinosaurs to go for on Wednesday. That kind of dilutes the special event supply drops. And I'm definitely not a fan of having 7 dinosaurs to choose from on any one given day. But I don't know. I just like I like it. I like having the overlapping of the 2 different classes of dinosaurs. Let me know in the comments below if you know if it's Nodosaurus on Wednesday, Utahraptor on Thursday, and Amargasaurus on Friday. I feel like they're anytime, and it's just the graphic set up that way to make it fit onto their little infographic here. But if you guys know, let me know in the comments below. And what do you think? Do you guys like the having the two different classes overlap? Definitely something kind of cool. I'm a fan of that. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we have Anki, we have Sino, and we have T-Rex. And a lot of people might be getting tired of seeing these. The problem is you really can never have too much of any of these. Tarbosaurus is just an absolute monster right now. And in fact, I'm going to do a level up, probably not a level up. I'm going to do a fusion on my not Tarbosaurus, what is it? My Thorodolosaur. But I'm going to do that. And then T-Rex, I mean, T-Rex is T-Rex. Still has value, even though I think Erlodomus and Indoraptor are less valuable in 1.7. You still have Trichosaurus, which is T-Rex, and then you have Anki, which Anki's still really good. 3 days of the treasure chases, and then just 2 days of epic strike towers. But you do have just one rare, I guess, and then 2 larges. So a little bit, 3 larges. So a little bit meh on the strike tower events, but I do like the way that the dinos of the week are sorted out. There is one thing that I would like to touch on before 1.7 comes out, and that is how I think the meta is potentially going to change. Now, we have new moves coming out with 1.7, and I can't remember if it's the precision or if it's the definite attacks. I just don't remember which one it exactly is, but it's one of the two. And what it's going to do is much like Bleed, where Bleed does, say, 20% of the total HP of your opponent on a specific turn. This move that I'm talking about does like 33% damage of your opponent's max HP. So it's something completely different that we haven't seen before. And because of that, as best as I remember, it's not affected by shields and it's not affected by armor because it does a percentage of the max HP. And so because of that, I feel like distracting moves are going to become pretty vital, pretty important in the meta. If you go to the Jurassic World Alive field guide, you can actually look at the different moves. And so if I do moves and I go for distract, D-I-R-S-T-A, distract, and then do search, I can see all the different dinos that have distraction moves. So you have debilitating distraction, distracting impact, distracting rampage, which is better than distracting impact, and then distracting strike, which is the least powerful of them all. And then you have instant distraction, superiority strike. But the thing with the instant distractions is with all of these moves, and there's some really nice dinos here that I think could be extremely useful. Dio Raja is getting a buff, so I'm not sure if it keeps its distraction. But you have Magna, you have Tenontorex, you have Procerathomimus, Dilorachirus. All of these have the distraction move. It's a very good move, and if indeed, as I suspect, these dinos that do a percent of total HP are going to become meta relevant, distracting dinos are going to become meta relevant to take out some of that blow. And now that I'm saying this, for some reason that doesn't sound right. Because for some reason it doesn't sound right, but trust me, there's a new move. I don't know why I can't think of it all of a sudden. It's what happens when you go on vacation. You get vacation brain, and then, like today, on Twitter, I put out a tweet because I saw Stygimoloch Gen 2. I was like, is this new in the wild? I've never seen this before. And of course, it's the special where they spawn more frequently as part of like the building the specific hybrid. And so Stygimoloch Gen 2, it's turned today, and so just vacation brain. But distraction moves are going to become more prevalent, and they're going to become, those are a lot stronger in 1.7 than they were previously, and they were already really nice moves. Now, as the meta starts to switch over to people using distraction, superiority strike is the counter to that, and so I think you can find some really nice dinosaurs. Maybe Stegodius is going to be making a play back into the meta, but I think what you want to start looking for is you kind of want to have a couple of different dinosaurs that have superiority strike back on your team again. So if I were to go in and say, well, I need to find a couple dinos which have superiority strike. There's a list of, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 16, 20, 24. There's 28 different dinosaurs. And if you look at them, like, there's not that many bad ones in the bunch. You know, some are better than others, but I think this list right here is a list of dinos that you're going to be wanting to look at for putting together your team. Remember, a balanced team is always going to be better than a one-sided heavy team. Obviously, damage is king. Damage is what knocks out your opponent. But superiority strike and the ability to cleanse out some of the reduction of damage that I feel like people are going to be running in 1.7 is going to be a nice counter to that. We do have the Edmonto Guanodon, which gets little to no use by the majority of players right now in the meta. Something like that could become very valuable. Dilophosaurus, arguably the best dino in the game, is going to maintain its presence atop the tier classes. But then I feel like the door is probably kind of open back up for Stegodius, especially because we're going to be able to add tiers onto dinos. The door for Stegodius is opened back up, especially with so many people having very high leveled Stegodius. Just be careful of over leveled dinosaurs. I don't really think Stygiderex is going to make an impact, but Tenontorex I think gains some value out of this. Toromoloch doesn't really get much love in this update, so maybe not as much, but if you are looking to round out a team and you're looking for a couple of options as far as having that superiority strike, there's some really good options to put together a really solid, well-rounded team using this list of dinosaurs there. I know that this video probably wasn't the most helpful, but the information in it is right, even if my brain isn't completely working. So I will try to be better tomorrow. Hopefully we get the update tomorrow. That's kind of, if people ask me what I think it's Tuesday. I think it'll be another situation where Tuesday morning we get a, hey, by the way, we're going to go under maintenance here shortly, and then later that afternoon, depending on what part of the world you're in, we will get 1.7. And just like you guys, like I'm in the waiting game as much as you guys are in the waiting game. So as far as anticipation, yeah, I'm ready to see 1.7. I'm ready to see some of these new dinosaurs in action, and for you guys to go through it with me. Anyway, that's all I've got for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and I hope you're able to weed through all the nonsense in there and come out with some good, valuable information. And until next time.